The song's called Here Comes the Boom. It was on that Belly soundtrack. Y'all never heard the Belly soundtrack? I don't know. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, Belly's one of those soundtracks that you need to listen to, like hip hop. This was a reggae song, so it was all the way left to hear DMX on this shit, and we didn't really know who Sean Paul was yet. And this was early Sean Paul.
That way.
Even after the song, he still really didn't know who Sean Paul was. So
should have stayed that way.
But you ain't like Sean Paul?
I can't stand Sean Paul, but that's okay.
I
like the song. I like this song, but like he hit the radio so much at a time where I had no choice but to listen to the radio. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get you with that. Sean Paul almost seemed like he was an industry plant.
Yeah, and he was like for a minute, he was like on everybody's song, right? Like just for a hot minute. So it's oversaturation of him on other people's music that got me.
No, I get you with that. I'm not against that.
But he is also a guy. Back then, if you put him on your track, you could guarantee you were being played in the club.
He was getting played, and not only was he going to get played in the club, the song was actually club worthy. I hate when somebody put an artist on the song,
and everybody said, "Oh, that's a Sean Paul song," even though it wasn't his song.
Oh shit! See, as we talking about it, Sean Paul is one of those guys. God damn it! So put him in the mix too. He was busting around the album. But now let's go with the song "Here Comes the Boom" off that Belly soundtrack.
Check it out. Dirty, yo. Let's done what Sean Paul again in the song. DMX and Die do me some favor. Yeah.
Here comes the boom. 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 Booming, bouncing, stalking, what's walking, hawking to pouncing. You know every counting. Hit him like a mountain. Spit him, have him spitting out blood like a fountain. Look at me like that, we just might fight black. And that fight might end up in me taking your life. I don't go for the bullshit, cause I've been down. And time is just too important to be fucking around. Chump nigga, I stop a mud hole in your face. Motherfucker, rip your butthole out of place. Cock the Glock to your head, let off about 2 in it. Yeah, it's a dirty job, but I just love doing it. Here comes the boom, here comes the boom. Here comes the boom, here comes the boom. Here comes the boom, here comes the boom. Here comes the boom, here comes the boom.
All gangsta you me why you hold your gun side. No get a pay your pussy cause a pussy not dry. Make them skin cry, my rub up the fly. Flash it out in a disco bye. Gangsta you me why you hold your gun side. No get a pay your pussy cause a pussy not dry. Make them skin cry, my rub up the fly. Flash it out in a disco bye. From the dirty know them a tata. Man a shatter, and I got a lot of power well. Just them if I go on, my rap fly like star. Make them a forget flatter. Say this are the sweetest time. No bunker get murder. I only don't take up the DMX and I do. Enjoy the killing time. Shot hotter than pepper, Mr. Clever. I'm a Glock, it a go talk for me crew. All gangsta you me why you hold your guns high. Don't get a pay your pussy cause a pussy not dry. Make them skin cry, my rub up the fly. Flash it out in a disco bye. Gangsta you me why you hold your guns high. Don't get a pay your pussy cause a pussy not dry. Make them skin cry, my rub up the fly. Flash it out in a disco bye.
Here comes the boom, here comes the boom. Here comes the boom, here comes the boom. Here comes the boom, here comes the boom. Here comes the boom, here comes the boom.
We do the coffee day and the beat ya. Like a spirit, we left them feel later. We keep going on and on and on. Pull them body ya, wood just like skater. So make them know we got a shooting gallery. Killing is fun and we no need not a salary. Full of body armor so nobody can follow it. And we no owe no apology. Well,
I did more kinds of war crimes, more times than in war times. Way before times. You know it's sad, man, that I'm such a madman, bad man. But the boom you never had, man. Here comes the boom. Here comes the boom, 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 here comes the boom.
All gangsta you me why you hold your guns high. No get a pay your pussy cause a pussy not dry. Make them skin cry, my rub up the fly. Flash it out in a disco bye. Gangsta you me why you hold your guns high. No get a pay your pussy cause a pussy not dry. Make them skin cry, my rub up the fly. Flash it out in a disco bye.
Here comes the boom, here comes the boom. Here comes the boom, 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 here comes
Boogity
So I don't know if you saw me laughing, but I started laughing because I pictured Shaggy singing Sean Paul's part, and it made me fucking laugh. I don't know why I thought of that.
That was the crazy shit. Like that song wasn't like no hit or nothing like that. But if Shaggy was on that song, especially at that time, it would have been a hit.
It was big enough because when I was in prison, motherfuckers would even say, "Here comes the boom" about shit, right? They came in, and it was like 2001, right before I got out, and Belly was being played on TV for the first time, right?
Okay.
And the prison blocked the channel, so none of us could watch it.
Wow.